Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. The Bhakti Vedanta Bhagavad group welcomes everyone again to the weekly Hari Katha. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and all Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. So before we begin, we would like to mention the important upcoming dates. Wednesday, April 14th is Tulsi Jaldan. In this month, like it begins on this date. So in this month, the sun moves into the Mesha Rasi or Aries, and the new year begins according to many calendars. Keshav Brata starts for 1 month, and one should control the senses, sleep on the earth, bath twice daily in a river, worship the Lord, and give cloths, sugar, sesame, rice, and gold to the Brahmanas. If one worships Madhusudana in this month, one gains the benefit of 1 year's worship. While Keshav Brata lasts, one may hang a pot with a hole in it, fill it with water, and drip water over the tulsi and a shaligram shila. So that was the announcement for today. And in the part 5 of the session, Satchitananda Dasa Prabhuji had explained about the habits like eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So these habits are common between the human beings and the animals, but it is the dharma which is the special quality of the human beings. So without the dharma, all humans are similar to the animals. So since in Kali Yuga, we cannot perform the tapasya or other forms of worship which was prevalent in the other yugas, therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us this sublime Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Prabhuji also explained about how Srila Prabhupada was sitting underneath the tree in Tompkins Square and chanting this Hare Krishna mantra alone. And the young hippies used to assemble and dance also in the tune of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for hours. So they were addicted to so many bad habits, but since they took to Krishna consciousness, they gave up all those bad habits immediately without any great endeavor. So the first thing that is required, as Prabhuji explained, is Cheto Darpana Marjana. This is the more we hear Hare Krishna Mahamantra and the more we chant, the more our heart becomes cleansed. Also, Prabhuji gave us an important principle that the holy name is Krishna himself and his associates. And Hare Krishna Mahamantra will not only eradicate the nonsense habits that we have, but also give us entrance to the Madhurya Rasa, or the service that is most pleasing to Radharani. So that were the highlights of the last session. And now we request Satchitananda Dasa Prabhuji to commence part 6 of the session on Shri Chaitanya Shikshashtakam. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गौरांग तुमी मोरे, गौरांग तुमी मोरे, दयाना छाड़िया। गौरांग तुमी मोरे, दयाना छाड़िया। गौरांग तुमी मोरे, दयाना छाड़िया। आपना कारिया रंग चरणे राखिया। आपना कारिया रंग चरणे राखिया। आपना करिया रंगा चरणे राखिया। तुम्हारा चरण लागी शब्द गीनो। तुम्हारा चरण लागी शब्द त्यागिनो। शीतल चरण पाया शरण अलयनो। शीतल चरण पाया शरण लयनो। गौरांग तुमी मोरे, दयाना छाड़िया। गौरांग तुमी मोरे, দয়ানা ছাড়িয়া। হরি বল। এই কুলে ও কুলে মুই দিলু তিলাঞ্জলি। এই কুলে ও কুলে মুই দিলু তিলাঞ্জলি। রাখিব চরণে মোরে আপনার বাণী। রাখিব চরণে মোরে আপনার বাণী। वासुदेव घोष बले चरण धरिया। वासुदेव घोष बले चरण धरिया। कृपा कोरी राखा मोरे पद छाया दिया। कृपा कोरी राखो मोरे पद छाया दिया। गौरांग तुमी मोरे দয়ানা ছাড়িয়া। গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি মোরে দয়ানা ছাড়িয়া। আপনা কারিয়া রঙ্গা চরণে রাখিয়া। अपना करिया रंगा चरणे राखिया। जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय। जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि। जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि। Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Cheto Darpan Marjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vikaranam, Vidyavadhu Jivanam, Anandamrudhivardhanam, Pratipada Purnamruta Swadanam, Sarvatma Snapannam, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Nam Namkari, Nam Namkari Bahuda Nij Sarva Shakti, Tatra Arpita Niyameta Smaranena Kalha, Etadrashi Tava Kripa Bhagwan Mamayapi, Durdaiva Mitrisham, Iha Jani Nanuraga, Pranadapi Suni Chena, Taroiva Sa Vishnuna, Amanina Manudena, Kirtanya Sadahari, Kirtanya Sadahari, Kirtanya Sadahari. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim, Kavitava Jagadish Kamaye, Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvara, Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahaituki Tvai, Ainanda Tanuja Kim Karo, Patitamam Vishame Bhavam Buddho, Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaj Sthita Dhulim, Sadrusham Vichintaya, Nayanam Galadashru Dharaya, Vadanam Gadgadarudhaya Gira, Pulakir Nichitam Vapu Kada, Tava Nam Grihaneshu Bhavishyati, Yugayitam Nimish कृष्णेना चक्षुषा प्रवश्यायितम् जगत सर्वं इदं गोविंद विरहेण मे आश्लिष्य पादरतां तिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनं मर्मो हर्तो करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विधातो लंपटो मत प्राणनाथ सएव न परः। बोलो श्री चैतन्य शिष्टाष्टकम की जय। कलयुग पावन हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। सर्व मनोभीष्टम हरि नाम की जय। बोलो बोलो हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। कलो दोष निधे राजन एको अस्ति महान गुणा कीर्तनादि कृष्णस्य मुक्त संग परम रजे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे राधे। जयो राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे राधे। जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे राधे। जयो राधा रमण राधा रमण राधे राधे। जय राधा गोकुलानंद राधा गोकुलानंद राधे राधे। जयो राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधे राधे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे राधे। जयो राधे जयो राधे जयो राधे जयो जयो श्री राधे। जयो कृष्ण बलराम जयो वृंदावन धाम। जयो कृष्ण बलराम जयो वृंदावन धाम। जयो ललिता विशाखा राधे श्याम। जयो ललिता विशाखा राधे श्याम। जयो गौरानिताय जयो गौरानिताय। जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद। जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद। जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद। जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद। जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। बोलो जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ठुमका ठुमका पग कुमका कुमका कुंजमग। चपल चरण हरि आए हो चपल चरण हरि आए। मेरे प्राण भुलावन आए। मेरे नयन लुभावन आए। अरुण किरण सम शृणवृन्द तव किरण बल रवि आए हो किरण बल रवि आए। मेरे प्राण भुलावन आए, मेरे नयन लुभावन आए। अमल कमल कर मुरली मधुर धर, बमशी बजावन आए। हो बमशी बजावन आए। मेरे प्राण भुलावन आए, मेरे नयन लुभावन आए। कुंज कुंज हर, कुंज कुंज भर, वृंदारंग हरि आए। हो वृंदारंग हरि आए, मेरे प्राण भुलावन आवे, मेरे नयन भुला लुभावन आए। निमिक झिमी झिमी, निमिक झिमी झिमी, नरतन पग पियाए। हो नरतन पग पिया आए। ठुमक ठुमक पग, कुमक कुमक कुंज मग, चपल चरण हरि आए। हो हो चपल चरण हरि आए। श्रियकान्तः कान्तः परमपुरुषः, कल्पतरवो ध्रुमा भूमिश्चिन्ता मणिगणमयी तोयममृतम्। कथागानं नाट्यं गमनपि च वंशी प्रियसखी चिदानन्द ज्योतिः परमपि तदा स्वाद्यमपि च। स यत्र क्षीराब्धि सुरभिभ्यश्च सुमहान्, निमेषार्धाख्यो वा व्रजत हि नायत्रापि समयः। भजे श्वेतदीपं तममिहं गोलोकमितीयं विदन्तस्ते सन्तः क्षितिविरचारः कतिपये ईश्वर परमकृष्ण सच्चिदानन्द विग्रहः अनादिरादिर् गोविन्द सर्वकारण कारणम्। आराध्यो भगवान् व्रजेश तनयस् तद्धाम वृन्दावनम् रम्या काचित् उपासना व्रजवधूवर्गेण तया कल्पिता। श्रीमद्भागवत पुराणयमलम् प्रेम पुमार्थो महान् श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभो मतैदं नायत्र आग्रह परः। नवनीरद निन्दित कान्तिधरम् रसोसागरना गर्भूपवरम् शुभ वंकिमचारु शिखंड शिखिं भज कृष्ण निधिं व्रजराजसुतं भज कृष्ण निधिं व्रजराजसुतं। राधिका सरोदैन्दु निन्दिमुखमण्डली वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्म वृषभानु नन्दिनी वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्म वृषभानु नन्दिनी वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्म वृषभानु नन्दिनी। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान् विदांश्च। वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the Gaudiya Acharyas, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. So today is Sunday, April the 4th, and we are again gathered here today trying to dive deep into the Chaitanya Shikshashtakam. Today is session number 6. And this is an amazing composition that spontaneously flowed from the lotus mouth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that golden avatar. He is that golden avatar of love, of prema, He is known as the Prema Dhava Eva Naumi Gaura Sundaram. He is the embodiment of Krishna Prem, because he is none other than the the uh, the union of Radha and Govinda, Radha and Krishna. Krishna came in the mood of Sri Radha. Radharani wrapped herself around Krishna when he decided to come here as a devotee, because Radharani knew how it is when one is absorbed in pure Krishna consciousness, when one is absorbed, especially in the bhav that of herself and her most intimate associates, in the Madhuri Rasa, in the amorous love, in the amorous mellows, it will be extremely difficult for Krishna to bear, especially the component of separation. There are always two, in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Rasa, there are two components that are of paramount importance. Most devotees or Vaishnavas, they're always worshipping Radha Krishna in their union, or Lakshmi Narayan in their union, if they are worshippers of Narayan or Vishnu, or their attraction is towards the Vaikuntha Dham. But even though some who are attracted to Sri Krishna, they may be attracted to his other features in Mathura and in Dwarka. But those who are attracted to Krishna in the Vrindavan or the Vraj personality, especially in the highest mellow of conjugal love, and in that, specialization also is of separation. The separation, because separation and union, they enhance, they complement each other, they enhance the union, the love. If there is no separation, one cannot value what love is. So the value of love is much, much enhanced, millions or maybe perhaps thousands of times or multifold, if and only if one gets a taste of separation. And that separation is what the gopis and the Radharanis, and of course all the Vrajvasis felt when Krishna, physically left Vrindavan Dham to go to Mathura, but he actually did not leave. Ekam padam na gacchati Vrindavanam. He was there in the form of his bhav. Bhav means the transcendental sentiments. He had basically to create that environment of deep separation. He appeared to have disappeared in front of the eyes of his devotees in Vrindavan. So this is a very, very high component in theism, which very few selected souls are able to participate or in that school of thought. There are many schools of thought, many schools of philosophy, many schools of theism, but this is considered the crescendo and the zenith. And when one studies a little bit more deeper, one will realize, because in our own experience, we have come across many different faiths with our interactions with friends, with family members, perhaps neighbors, and through our different what we call is a society that is full of different variety, where there is different types of faiths and religions and modes of worship. But when we actually, with a balanced and a very thoughtful way, when we think about this point that Krishna brings about in the Bhagavad Gita, that ye yatha mam prapadyante tamsa tathaiva bhajamiham, the shloka or the verse where he says that according to one's relationship, or according to one's hankering, or according to one's service, or according to one's desire to develop a relationship with me, I reciprocate accordingly. So this is an amazing fact, that although Bhagavad Gita being the fundamental truth of spiritual science, and although it being the primary, the Bhagavad Gita is the most primary education. Just like before we go into the higher education, into subject, like for example, if a student has to go into graduation into a particular subject in science, let's say graduate into biology, then he has to go through the preliminary steps of going through all the 10 different grades of school, a couple grades in high school, and then undergrad, and then grad, and then further on masters, and then doctorate, etc., specializations. So similarly, there's specializations when it even comes to having a relationship with the Supreme Lord. And the Lord is amazing. He reciprocates according to one's desire. And our, excuse me, and our desires are, just 1 second, please. Excuse me. And our desires are basically dictated, or rather guided, with the company we keep, with the association. So good or bad, it determines our consciousness, our desires. And once those desires become very strong, and then at that time, the Supreme Lord who is within our heart, he actually, he makes note of that strong desire. He knows the intensity, and then he makes a particular arrangement for a particular association to, in the case of spirituality, know more about him. Like when Jesus Christ said that I've yet many things to say, but you do not have the ears. It is said in the Bible. Jesus Christ is a Vaishnava. He knows the principles of Krishna consciousness. But at the time and place where he was at that time, most of the people were of a barbaric nature when they came. So his main goal was to bring them to a platform of sattvic platform, a platform on the mode of goodness, which is also material in one sense, to bring them on a pious platform. So he could not give them bombard them with a lot of deeper principles of Vaishnavism. He gave the simple Vaishnavism principle. And most faiths are like that. They talk about God, they talk about how great God is, but they do not give, although a lot of saintly personalities may have the information, they do not reveal it, because the persons at that time, according to time, place, and circumstances, they are not qualified enough. Which Jesus very clearly says that I have many things yet to say, but you do not have the ears. That means you're not ready for it yet. So when somebody is not ready, obviously one has to get that intense desire within their hearts, which is fanned by the flames of the proper association. And that is done, that comes with the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Once that desire, so it is kind of a catch-22, the desire comes first, and then the mercy of the Lord along with the association. And the association comes, sometimes it is known as ahaituki kripa, without any reason, beyond the laws of karma, without any just reason, one just gets that mercy. Like when they saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he appeared about 532 years ago in West Bengal, and there are so many Dinahina Jatachilo, Hariname Uddharilo, Tara Sakshi Jagai Madai. There were so many different personalities, saintly personalities, good people, bad people, ruffians, people who are of the most degraded nature. They all got the mercy of Mahaprabhu. That is, and those who got the mercy of Mahaprabhu, just like that, is known as Ahituki Kripa. Hetu means when we do something and then we deserve it. Ahituki means without deserving, we simply get it. It's just like, someone who is, a very simple, practical example. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that. So, as I was saying, that Ahituki Kripa, without any reason. I was giving an example, like sometimes when somebody is at a signal light and some homeless person comes and begs alms, So most of the people give them a quarter, maybe a dollar, couple dollars, $5. That's about it. But other than that, if someone suddenly just rolls down the window and gives that person perhaps several thousands of dollars just without any reason, so that can be kind of explained as ahaituki kripa. That can be explained as the sometimes the mercy just comes unsolicited, undeserved. So similarly, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Krishna decided to come down, Radharani said, you're trying to get the bhav of us, the gopis. You're trying to actually attain my bhav. And if you attain it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be crazy. You'll be rolling all over the place. You'll be hurting yourself. You will be you will be in a very ecstatic, in a crazy mood where you will not even take care of your bodily needs. And I want to wrap myself around you. I want to protect you. So Radharani, actually, when Krishna comes here as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she wraps himself around him. And that's why Krishna has got this golden color known as Gauranga. Jai Satchitananda Gaura Hari. So this Gaura Hari, when he came here, and he was in the Gambira, full of separation, at that time, he is the golden volcano of divine love. That golden volcano bursted of the divine love, and out came out the Chaitanya Shikshashtakam as the lava, the golden lava from his mouth, which we are trying to deeply study. So we studied in the past few sessions quite a bit. A lot of fundamentals were covered, the importance of the holy name, how the holy name eradicates our existence, which is since time immemorial, like a forest fire. It eradicates all the different misgivings or the anarthas, the different anarthas which are categorized into four with four subcategories. So total about 16 different garbage that we have accumulated since many lifetimes, since time immemorial, since Anadi Kal. And the holy name, first, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends that it is holy name is also basically like a kalpa vriksha. It is basically Nama Chintamani, Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It is Chintamani. It is like touchstone. And when you touch a touchstone to anything, it will turn into gold in whatever you desire. So it is more or less like a desire tree. So it gives you whatever you want, the holy name. But especially the holy names, the transcendental Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This particular Mahamantra, it first purifies. The negative effects are first removed. Nitya Shuddha Mukto. Nitya Shuddha Mukto. It will eternally purify us. And it will liberate us from the material things, all the different anarthas. And then the positive engagement will begin. And what was that positive engagement? We described that as the Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. When our heart or the mind is in the core of the heart, when it is completely cleansed, then we become receivers of pure mercy. That mercy, we have to become patras. I had explained that in the previous sessions, that a patra means a vessel. Supposing if you want to ask somebody something, let's say, if I want a pot of milk and I'm standing in front of somebody, sir, can you give me some milk? So the person has lots of milk, abundant milk. The person is also very magnanimous and very much, wanting to give unlimited. That is the heart of the giver. But I have a vessel that is as big as my hands, as you can see. So that's all I can receive. But if I have a bigger vessel, that person is capable of giving more and more. And if I have a much bigger vessel, he can fill that to the brim and more and more. So similarly, we have to become the patra to receive that kripa. The kripa is there. The kripa of the Supreme Personality of God and Nandanandan and his intimate associates is always there, because that is their nature. It is their most most uh, primal nature is to give, and give and give and give, so that the jiva can be reconnected to them for their eternal happiness, so that they can be rekindled, their consciousness can be rekindled. So when the heart is completely cleansed, then it becomes an unlimited source for receiving. It keeps on receiving, and then once it keeps receiving, it can give, it can reflect. Just like the moon, it is described, Shreya Kairava Chandrika. Chandrika means the moon, and Shreya means the beautiful white cooling light of the moon, which is none other than the representation of the Guru Tattva, who is Lord Balram or Lord Nityananda. We had explained that. And when Lord Nityananda, through the Acharyas, because they are unlimited patras, they are the most qualified, they are unlimited, they receive the mercy of, the Adi Gurus, Krishna, Radharani, and Nityananda Prabhu. They are receivers to an unlimited extent. They are Vande Guru Sri Charnaravinda, Praptasya Kalyana, Gunar Navasya, Vande Guru Sri Charnaravinda. They have obtained Praptasya. Prapta is also a common word derived from Sanskrit in many vernacular languages. So Prapta Asya. Praptasya means from you, they have obtained. They have obtained the auspiciousness. Praptasya Kalyan. Kalyan means auspiciousness. Gunar Navasya. Gunar Nava means transcendental qualities, and Arnava means the ocean. And unto those personalities like Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, all the entire Guru Parampara, who are none other than the recipients of Nityananda Prabhu's mercy to an unlimited extent, they are the most perfect and unlimited patras who have received it. And because they have received it, they are able to do, they are an ocean of mercy, and they are able to give that auspiciousness to all. They are able to vitaranam. Vitaranam means they are able to radiate that moonlight. Just like a pure diamond can reflect all the light, there is no obstruction. But if there is a piece of glass, or there is what you call, there are certain elements that are impure present in that glass or diamond, then 100% light cannot be refracted. It cannot be reflected. There will be some resistance. So, but a pure. So similarly, when our hearts are cleansed, we become receivers of that pure mercy. And then when we become receivers, it has a multiple effect. It has a multiple effect. It also, one of the effects is, because that mercy is full of giving, we also start giving others. So, Vitaranam, we radiate that moonlight of Nityananda Prabhu. We radiate that moonlight of mercy of Radharani, of the intimate associates of Radharani, of Shyam Sundar, and of course, all the intimate associates, meaning all these acharyas who are in their eternal forms as the intimate associates of Srimati Radharani. So, and then what is the result? The result is that Vidyavadu Jivanam Ananda Ambudi Vardhanam Pratipada Purna Amruta Swadanam Sarvatma Snapannam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So we went into a lot of details last week with different meanings that we have been explaining. So just to recap the deeper meaning of what happens. So when one becomes the recipient of this pure mercy, it not only radiates it. So at that time, during the recipient, just like when we receive the pure antenna, the waves of the television or the mobile waves, we get a very clear signal when we are talking on our phone or watching TV. Or probably hearing the radio. So similarly, when we receive those sound vibration, we receive that mercy, then what happens is, due to the receiving of the mercy, that we get along with that a very, very special component in theism. We will get a very special component of mercy, which is also Vidya Vadu Jivanam. Vidya Vadu Jivanam means we get the knowledge, we get the transcendental knowledge of Rajbhav of the gopis. I explained the meaning of Vadhu last time. Vadhu means one who can expand. Like in Hindi it is called Bahu. Like somebody's daughter-in-law, they call them Bahu. In Gujarati it is called Vahu or Bahudi, right? So only a woman can expand. Only a woman can become more than one. A man cannot. A woman can give birth to many children, so she can expand. The children are an expansion. So this Bahu means Vidya, Vadhu Jivanam means the Vahu or the Bahus of Vraj. The Bahus of Vraj means those gopis. Those gopis who are married, those who are, although they were married, they were so much surrendered to Sri Krishna, like in the Gopi Geet. They are saying that Pati Sutanvaya, we have given up everything for you, O Krishna. In the middle of the night, we left our parents, we left our elders, we left our husbands, we didn't care about the society. That is the level of surrender. That is the meaning, the true deeper meaning of Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshasyami Ma Sucha, which Krishna is propagating in the Bhagavad Gita. Surrender unto me all types of varieties of religion. So one of the varieties of religion is my religion or dharma to my parents, dharma to my wife, dharma to my kids, dharma to my relatives, dharma to my society, the duties. But Krishna says Sarva Dharman Parityaja. So that is the topmost example, can be found only in the Vraja Vadhu. And here in particular the word Vadhu is being used by Mahaprabhu is because this Vadhu means automatically those ladies who are married. So somebody who is married to give up their husbands and to give up their social life and to incur a stigma of social stigma of having a relationship outside of marriage is considered completely abominable. But this is called parkyaras. This is a very, very high subject matter that neither am I qualified to speak on, and nor most listeners may be able to understand. But I can only touch on some of the important things, that the parkyaras is something that is not found in Golok Vrindavan. Yes, this is something, please try to pay attention to this, because as I am getting these furtis, I will, and as it is coming to my heart, I will explain from what I have read and heard from the books of our Gaudiya Acharyas. Parkya, so Krishna wants to taste parkyaras to test the pinnacle of the surrender. Because in Golok Vrindavan already the souls are surrendered. So their surrender has it is already there, it is already existing. So there the separation also does not happen, there's not much of a separation. Actually hardly there is any separation, it's mostly union in the original Golok Dham. But in Vraj Bhumi, in the Bhaumya Dham, these two things happen which are very special that don't happen in Golok, which is parkyaras. The parkyaras means the affair, the transcendental affair outside of marriage, number one. And number two, the separation that arises when Krishna disappears and gives them the highest pain in separation. So that pain in separation is only possible in this Vraj Bhumi. And the reason why Krishna does that is twofold. First of all, to demonstrate how great his devotees of Vraj are. To just like, and especially in the amorous pastimes or in the Madhuri Ras, to demonstrate the greatness of Radharani. Yadi Gaurang na hoito tabe ki hoito, yadi Gaur na hoito tabe ki hoito, kemone dharitam de, Radhara Mahima Prema Rasa Sima Jagata Janatake. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not have come, Vasudev Ghosh is saying, Vasu Ghosh is saying, one of the associates of Mahaprabhu who wrote this poem, this bhajan, he's saying that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not have come, Jadi Gaurang na hoito, Gaur na hoito, tabe ki hoito, what would have happened? Kemone dharitam de. How would I have, continued with my life? Kemone dharitam de. Radhara Mahima Prema Rasa Sima. The glories of Radharani, Radhara Mahima. Mahima means the topmost glories of Jagata Janatake. How would the whole world would have known? So that is one of the reasons. Mahaprabhu came for this particular reason, and also Krishna came along with his associates for one of the most internal reasons. In Dwapar Yuga, brought his whole dham, Golok Vrindavan, to Vrindavan Dham here, which is called the Bhaumya Vrindavan, to enact a couple extra components that were really missing in the actual Golok Dham. So that is the reason why this Vrindavan Dham is very special. It demonstrates, Krishna wanted to demonstrate that, hey, you want to know what bhakti is really? See what my gopis are. See the Vrajvasis. Look at their example. And see how in separation also they were emancipated completely, but still how much they love me. That is the zenith. That is the love in separation, in the Vipralamba Bhav. For example, all of our Gaudiya Acharyas are expert in that Vipralamba Bhav. Especially it has been highlighted in Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj's Pranam Mantra, Nama Gaur Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murte Vipralamba Rasambodhe Padam Bhujayate Namaha. Vipralamba Rasam. Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj, the Gurudev of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. In his Pranam Mantra, this line is mentioned that Vipralamba Rasambodhe. He is such an ecstatic ocean, a transcendental ocean, Rasambudhi of mellows, Rasambudhi, an ocean of mellows in service service in separation, Vipralamba Bhav, Vipralamba Bhav. And only in Vipralamba Bhav one can understand the heart of Radharani. Because if the pain is the same, we can understand. Supposing if one has never seen anything in their life, like for example, I think in the story of Gautam Buddha, I recollect in my childhood I had learned it. Perhaps I'm maybe a little bit gray, but the essence was that Gautam Buddha, he was born to a very, very affluent, kingly royal family. And he had everything. He was born with a golden spoon, everything that he needed. And he had never seen anything in his life that was dukkha or any kind of miseries in his life. And he was almost kept in the palace, in the bubble, where all the luxuries were there, and he was so full of, everything around him was full of joy, and everything was full of, full of enjoyment. But one day, he got the opportunity to go out into the streets. And then when he went into the streets, they saw some people carrying a dead body. And at that time, he stopped and he looked, and people were crying. And he saw a dead body, and he did not even know what a dead body was like, or what the pain was of losing somebody. So like that. And then further on he went and he saw some other things that were so miserable. People were so dukhi. They were so sad. They were in pain. So at that time he started reflecting, and that's how he became Gautam Buddha. He left his palace, and then he went into his own system of meditation, etc. But those who don't see pain or have never felt that pain of a particular type, one can never understand. Like supposing if one has never lost anybody in their life, then how they can understand the pain of somebody who might be crying if they lost their father or their mother or a near and a dear one. But if we have lost somebody, then we can relate to them much more easily. So Vipralamba Bhav. So I'm taking a little more time on this particular component of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. This is very, very confidential, and this is very, very amazing. But that's okay. Those who can grasp it, well and good, And may Krishna and who is the Paramatma in our hearts, give us the proper perspective to understand these subject matters. So highlighting that highest zenith of love, especially love and separation, which Krishna has to create here, and that separation was created, and especially the kind of love where, it's not easy for a married woman to go simply have a loving affair with somebody else. That would be considered most abominable. And Krishna also tells them that go back. You cannot be, I am a single brahmachari. You should go back, and Gopi says, no, we have already surrendered ourselves to you. So this is the glories. That is the reason why Krishna enacted this Parkiya Bhav. And that is why it is especially the Vraja Vadhu. It is a different story when the maidens, when those women who are not married, or girls who are not married, they can have, a loving relationship with a single or unmarried boy. And sometimes, unfortunately in our society, they have affairs outside of, even if they are single, they have affairs with a married person. But for a married woman to have an affair with a single person is considered most abominable. And Krishna here, through the what is known as the Jaya Jaya Ujjvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar Parkiya Bhave Jaha Vrajeta Prachar. Parkiya Bhav, that is called Parkiya Ras. Parkiya means somebody else's. That is the meaning of parkiya. Parkiya means not mine, but somebody else's. So somebody else's. Mine is my husband. Mine is my family. But parkiya, like we sometimes say, no, why you are spending so much time? वो तो paraya hai. Paraya and parkiya means the same. Parkiya is in Sanskrit, and paraya means parkiya, means somebody who is not yours. So by having a relationship with somebody who are not you're supposed to have, or who is not yours, is called parkiya ras. So that is called Jaya Jaya Ujjvala Ras. All glories to that rasa, to that mellow of parkiya ras. Sarva rasa sar. It is the embodiment of all the rasas. Why? Because in all the different rasas, whether it is dasya ras, sakhya ras, meaning the ras of servitorship, or the mellow of friendship with Krishna, or the mellow of vatsalya ras, of parental. But parkiya rasa sarva rasa sar. Why is that? Because in parkiya rasa, in the Vrajvadus, all the different experiences of duties are already there in them. So a servant has an obligation to the master. So similarly, a wife also, in one sense, has an obligation to her husband or to the family and serves the family. Friendship. A wife is like a friend. So similarly, the Gopas of Vrindavan, they are friends of Sri Krishna. So they have a certain obligation in friendship also, or they have certain duties. But that friendship is already present in the amorous or the Madhurya rasa, or in the fifth rasa. And the parental love, that is there, that duties of the parents are there. And also a wife is sometimes like a parent, or a girlfriend is like a parent. She acts like, somebody who really cares for you. When you are sick, they can spoon feed you, put medicine in your mouth. And that is like, very, very much like a parental care. So Jaya Jaya Ujjvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar. This Ujjvala Rasa means this Madhurya Rasa of the gopis. And it is the sar, it is the essence of all the rasas. A parkiya bhave jaha vrajeta prachar. This is the only place where the parkiya ras is prominent in Vraj. It is not prominent in Awadh, in Vaikuntha. It's impossible for Lakshmi Devi to even think for a moment that she is going to give up the company of Lord Narayana. That is why Lakshmi Devi was not allowed in Vrindavan. Even today, Lakshmi Devi is sitting in Belwan. She's doing a lot of tapasya because she wants to receive that love of Sri Samsundar and also reciprocate with him, just like the gopis. She wanted to enter the Ras Leela, but she was not allowed because she didn't have that characteristic that was required in order for that the gopis had. That the parikasta or the zenat or the type of love that the gopis had, to give up everything, including giving up her own husband in Vaikuntha and joining Sam Sundar, in Parkiya Ras. So she was not, and that's the reason she was not allowed. So there is a nice conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the father of Gopal Bhatta Goswami when he went to South India, Venkat Bhatt. In that, Venkat Bhatt was a Sri Sampradaya. Sri Sampradaya means Vaikuntha, the worshippers of Lord Narayana. Like the examples we see that Tirupati, the lordship, Tirupati Balaji, he is worshipped as the Lord Narayana of Vaikuntha. So he is worshipped in Aishwarya, in Dasya Rasa, with great opulence. And it is said that Lakshmi Devi never leaves his side. So if Lakshmi Devi is asked to have an affair with Krishna, Nandan, she cannot do that because it is not possible for her to give up her dharma of leaving Narayana. So this was the conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Venkat Bhatt. And then when Mahaprabhu explained that the source of Narayan is Krishna and the source of Lakshmi Devi is Radharani, and then he was a Sri Sampradaya Vaishnava. Later on, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was converted to Gaudiya Vaishnavism, where he was promoted to Golok Vrindavan from Vaikuntha. And then, of course, his son Gopal Bhatta Goswami, to whom Radha Raman manifest in Vrindavan, the famous Radha Raman deities. Ah, so Gopal Bhatta Goswami was one of the 6 Goswamis of, in Vrindavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also very fond of him. So like this, so we have to understand that this Ujjwal Ras and Parkya Ras is never to be imitated. This is the first warning. Very, very important. Otherwise, we will become Sahajas. Thakur Bhakti Vinod has identified those. In Bengal, last time we had a small discussion, I think, during the Atibari, the word, I think Anup Prabhu had brought that up, and the Pancha Sakhas. So I was not able to comment on that, but the word Atibari I was familiar because the perhaps it has it means that the great personalities, the word Atibari, or the great Mahantas. But a lot of them imitate those Atibaris. So then there became a sect known as the Atibaris. There are 13 upper sampradayas. They are not the bona fide sampradayas. They are chanting the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are chanting the name of Lord Nityananda. And they do all that. Shankachuda, Shakhi Bheki. Shakhi Bheki is another type of upper sampradaya, not bona fide, where they act like they are Sakhis. These persons, they are following Mahaprabhu, they are following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then they dress up in saris, the males. And they dress up in sari and they act like they are gopis. And they are, and that is sense gratification. One cannot imitate the great gopis of Vrindavan. So then they say that, oh, I am a gopi and you are Krishna. And sometimes they even have illicit sex with their gurus. So these are the different things that happen when one doesn't understand the tattva in the proper bona fide sampradaya. So we have to be very, very careful. One cannot. We can understand the tattva. We can understand. We should grab the philosophy. But after grabbing the philosophy, thinking that I can become a gopi and I can act like that, and I am a gopi or I am a manjari, would be very, very dangerous, and it will bring our fall down immediately. We will become imitators. We will become sahajas. We will take to this Krishna consciousness very cheaply. And that is why Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada and Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada was always warning against this, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur had already given us the different sampradayas that one should stay away. Even some of the sampradayas that came in from the line of even Advaita Acharya, his own son, even from the son from Nityananda Prabhu, one is bona fide, one is not. So then, like that, we have to be very careful. And that is the reason, one of the reasons why Srila Prabhupada was very, very careful that, ISKCON members should not associate with Gaudiya Math people. Because then there might be some misunderstanding in the philosophy, and then they can be taken aback, and then the whole thing can become very cheap and sahaja. So this is very, very important, and I cannot lay much more stress than this. It is good to have the information, but we must become excellent sadhaks. We must chant the holy names very nicely. We must follow the 4 regulative principles very nicely. And then, either in this lifetime when we are completely mature, then at that time, within our hearts, the Raganuga Bhakti will open up. New doors will open up, where the Vraj Bhav Bhakti will be exposed to us within our hearts. Chakshudana Dilo Jai, Janme Janme Prabhu Sei, Divya Gyan, Hriday Prakashito. Even though Gurudev may not be here, our acharyas, who are none other than radiating the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, of Lord Baldev, will indeed give us guidance within our heart, how to, when we are perfectly situated in our sadhana bhakti. Not that we are not chanting properly and we are not following the 4 regulative principles, and just because we read a few things, we should get the gopi bhav. Then we are in big danger. Then we say that, oh, we have to give up our parents, we give up our children, and some of them want to artificially take sannyas and all these things. That is also very dangerous. But that is also not recommended. So all these things I'm mentioning because it is the glorification of our parampara. It is the glorification of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. It is a glorification of and the distinction between the other Vaishnavas and the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Other Vaishnavas mostly union of Radha and Krishna, even in their perfection, even when they are in the holy, situated on a transcendental platform. But for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, separation, service in separation is considered even higher than service in union. Service in so these are some of the most important things that one should understand through these particular discourses that I am trying to share, and especially when it comes through the different inner meanings of the Chaitanya Shikshashtakam. So Vidya Vadu Jivanam. When we will get the knowledge, the transcendental knowledge, and the consciousness, vidya, of the gopis of Raj, where the paramount duty is the pleasure of Shyam Sundar. It doesn't matter if I have to go through pain or even I have to go through all kinds of social discrimination, and even within my own household, when I'm giving up I'm taking that risk of giving up my husband or my kids or my relatives, etc. So like that is why that is Mahaprabhu. That is why Vraja Vadu Vargena. When our heart is completely cleansed, then at that time the special mercy will flow from Radharani through Ananga Manjari. Ananga Manjari is none other than, in the Madhurya Rasa explained, is Balram. Balram Prabhu is present in all 5 rasas. I had explained that earlier on. And in the Madhurya Rasa, he is Radharani's younger sister, King Vrishabhanu's younger daughter, who is one of the Manjaris and who is very close to Radharani, and she understands the complete concept and the nuances and every intricate details of how Radharani feels and how Krishna interacts in the Manjari Rasa, in the Madhurya Rasa, and in the Swapaksha gopis, etc. So then she has understood. So then it is time that amongst the guru of all the gurus, who is Baldev Prabhu in the form of Manjari, as Ananga Manjari, she imparts that knowledge of Vidya Vadu. She imparts that very special knowledge that the highest pinnacle of surrender, the highest pinnacle of surrender, just like the surrender of the Vrajavadus or the married gopis of Vrindavan. So this is the Aradhya Bhagwan Vrajeshatanaya Stadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Taya Kalpita. If one wants to learn the highest worship, of the highest surrender, the highest of everything in bhakti, then follow in the footsteps of the Vrajavadu. Vrajavadu Taya Kalpita. Srimad Bhagavata Purana Malam Prema Pumartha Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Mataidam Na Yatragraha. And there is the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that if you want to study the highest grantha, you want to study is Srimad Bhagavata. If you want to learn highest worship, bhakti, the gopis of Vrindavan. So like this, it is the opinion of Mahaprabhu. And as evidence is there, and Prabhupada used to speak this shloka. Sometimes we have to understand Srila Prabhupada. Even through his purports, we get so much rasa, so much nectar is there. But sometimes we are so much in a haste to just read fast, to complete things fast, that we miss some of the most nectarian parts in Srila Prabhupada's purport. And Prabhupada was very careful not to give rasa just like that, to make it cheap. But his rasa is there. Those mellows of Madhurya rasa are there in each and every, some of the purpose of Srila Prabhupada. They're amazing. How Srila Prabhupada mentions these things, and it's a matter of our maturity and catching those. So Vrajavadutaya Kalpita, coming back to the Shikshashtakam. So Vidya Vadu Jivanam, Vidya, we will get that Vidya Vadu Jivanam. And also Vidya Vadu Jivanam, the external meaning or the simple meaning is it will enhance our spiritual life. That is the standard translation if we read Vidya Vadu Jivanam. And then when we get that Ananda Ambudhi Vardhanam, then what will happen? That we will attain the highest non-increasing bliss, an ocean. Ambudhi means ocean. The bliss of ocean will keep increasing. We all are Satchitananda Rupa. We are all known as Satchitananda Rupa because we are part and parcels of Sri Krishna. So Sat, we are eternal. Chitta, we are full of, we are cognizant. That I am a spirit soul and I am an eternal servant of Sri Krishna. That is Chitta. And Ananda. And due to that, we get bliss. We get bliss when we are situated on that platform, when we are not covered with Maya. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labhate Param. One is situated on that transcendental platform, one sees upon everything equally, never ever hankers after material things, and never ever is laments over anything. And such kind of bhakti is the highest bhakti, which Krishna says, that is called the science of self-realization. When one is situated on that platform, that platform is known as Brahma Bhuta, or one on the highest spiritual platform, or the highest platform of self-realization is known as Brahma Bhuta. Brahma Bhuta. Prasannatma, always full of bliss. So similarly, when we are on the Brahma Bhuta platform, we are always full of bliss, and that is the reason it will continuously increase our ocean of bliss. And especially when we get that transcendental knowledge of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, when it enters our heart, when Ananga Manjari gives us those blessings and gives us a glimpse of what we can do when we go back home, back to Godhead, and in our Manjari Bhav, when we will be assisting the other intimate servitors of Radharani, that will increase our ocean of bliss. It's just like a person who is very materialistic. If somebody is just, let's say, making a normal living, maybe the person is making $2,000-3,000 a month, and driving a very simple car, living in a simple apartment. But can you imagine that if somebody tells, let's say, goes to a fortune teller, and he has full faith in that fortune teller, who is very, very good, who is very perfect in his predictions, and if that fortune teller, looking at his palm, he says, you know what? You're going to be rolling in billions and billions of dollars. You will be having mansions, you will be having many, many cars, and you will have many servants, and you will have all the luxuries. You will have many, many homes all over the world. So what will happen? His material sukha will increase just by hearing that. Just by hearing, he's not even become that. He's not even obtained that. But just by hearing that. So similarly, when that knowledge is given through the mercy of our acharyas, through the mercy of Ananga Manjari, then it will increase our ocean of bliss. Even when we are right here, even when in our present existing form, whatever form we are in. As I mentioned, there are 9 different stages. Ado Shraddha, first we have faith. And because we have little faith, we go to the temple or whatever, to the mosque or to the church or the Gurudwara. Ado Shraddha. Then what happens? When we go to the places of worship, then we get Sadhu Sangha. We meet saintly persons. We meet Vaishnavas, especially when we come to places of worship like ISKCON or similar places of institutions where there is a sincere attempt to preach Krishna consciousness. So sadhu sangha, and then sadhus, when we are serious, they tell us that, hey, if you're serious about your spiritual life, then you would have to do some bhajan. Bhajana kriya. Kriya means activities. And what are those bhajan kriya that Prabhupada always said? No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. And what do you have to do? Chant the holy name, read Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavatam, associate with the devotees. And whenever you get time, go to the different holy places. The do's and the don'ts, that is known as Bhajana Kriya. If you are serious, after all, then take initiation. Take a bona fide spiritual master, get connected to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Officially, formally get connected. Make vows that you will chant a minimum number of vows as at the time of initiation you had promised your Gurudev. And then slowly and steadily, life will become sublime. That is called Bhajana Kriya. After that, Anartha Nivriti, all that is bad in our hearts will be vanished. Everything, which is what Cheto Darpada Marjanam. The first 3 words of this Shikshashtakam, first verse. After that vanishes, everything vanishes. Then the next thing, real bhakti starts. Then we become in the next 5th stage. We get nishtha. Nishtha means we are fixed. Yeah. No matter what, whether we are tired, we are sick, no matter what, I'm so fixed up in my Krishna consciousness. I will wake up early. I will chant the holy names. I will read whatever reading I'm supposed to do every day. Some kind of vrata I've taken that I will read 1 chapter or 1 page or 1 sloka. So that is that nishtha, that fixed up, that steadfastness comes. The next stage, the 6th stage is ruchi. Then real taste comes. Then one doesn't have to convince the mind. Like sometimes, it is Ekadashi, oh, now tomorrow is Ekadashi, I'm not feeling well, how I will do it. But, with enthusiasm, one will, with great taste, one will do all these activities. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in that bhajan, we have sung this before, that Prati Divase Parama Sukhe Parama Adaraburi. Every day I will take to all these subject matters of Krishna consciousness that are conducive to Krishna consciousness with great reverence, and I will, with great taste, I will perform those. So that is the next stage, which is ruchi, lots of taste, real taste. And after that, the stage of bhav comes, the eighth stage, which is what we are talking about here in this Vidyavadhu Jivanam. That bhav stage of Vidyavadhu Jivanam is when we get to know by the mercy of our acharyas, even though Gurudev may not be here, even though Prabhupada is not here, even Rup Goswami is not here, but because of our sincerity, we have qualified to go into the next stage of the Vraj Bhakti. And within our hearts, they will reveal. Within their purports, when we are reading their books, when we are reading the slokas, so many things will be revealed of Vraj Bhakti. And at that time, when that is revealed, sitting right here, we will know who we are in Golok Vrindavan. When we wind up our body here, our material body, and the soul goes back, we will get the Ekadash Bhav, where we will get what our spiritual body is, in which group we are, what is our name, what is our dress, what is our activity, what is our seva, where we will be living in Golok Vrindavan, in which, let's like we have an address. We have an address where we live presently, correct? So we will have an address. Like Rupa Goswami's address is very close. It's called Rupa Ullasa Kunja. He lives at the bank of a kunja known as the Rupa Ullas Kunja. That's the name of his house, or the kunja, or the bower, which is very close to the Lalita Devi's Kunda. So like this, just like in India, we have this, even today, it's not like the West, right? They will say opposite such and such school, or opposite this hospital, or next to this playground, such and such an address, right? Is it true or not? This is how we give directions in India. It is not like how here we just put in the street name and the number, and right there and there we can get that information. So like that, it is mentioned. Narottam Das Thakur mentions in his in his books, in the Prema Chandrika, about the residences of all the different important manjaris, where they are situated, what they are wearing, what is their dress, etc., and what group they are. So there are different groups also. So that is that bhav. That Ekadash bhav is revealed to us when we become perfectly purified. And then at that time, we get that Krishna prem. There's so much love, just like the love, the amorous love, we are given that Madhurya Rasa right where while we are. And then when we leave our bodies, we will be reuniting ourselves. We will be rejoined with our acharyas who are manjaris, who we will be serving under their guidance. Like Narottam Das Thakur says in that bhajan, right? Radha Krishna Prana Mora Jivan, Radha Krishna Prana Mora Jugala Kishora. In that he says, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasayanu Dasa Sevayadhikaro Diye Narottam Dasa Sevayadhikaro Diye Narottam Dasa. So please give me, Narottam Das Thakur is begging that, oh Acharyas, oh Manjaris, oh servitors of Radharani, give me that adhikar, give me some service. You are so much expert in the service of Radha Krishna, please give me some service. So like that, when we are reunited after we get that Krishna prem, then we will be assisting those personalities in Golok Vrindavan. Or perhaps even if you have to come back here in Vrindavan, or wherever they wish us to go in their service. This is the bhav. So these are the different 9 stages. So Vidyavadhu Jivanam means that stage will come. That stage will come when we will enter into that bhav and that Krishna prema stage, where we will get with the information right here, wherever we are. So when at that time we are chanting the holy names, we are concentrating on our seva. Gurudev or the Gurus. Vande Guru Shri Chaitanya. Guru means plural. I mentioned that many times. All these acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Gaur Kishore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all these are Manjaris. I mentioned Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is Kamla Manjari. Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj is an incarnation of Guna Manjari, who is none other than Raghunath Das Goswami. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ji is Kamla Manjari. Like that. So Jiva Goswami is Vilas Manjari. Rup Goswami is Rup Manjari. Sanatana Goswami is Labhanga Manjari. The Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is Kasturi Manjari. Loknath Goswami is Manjulali Manjari. So all these different Manjaris, they are actually imparting this knowledge to us, coming through Radharani, coming through Rupa Manjari, coming through Ananga Manjari, who is none other than Baldev Prabhu or Nityananda Prabhu. So Vidya Vadu Jivana. Then when that ocean of bliss within our hearts will increase, just like that person who has been told by the fortune teller that you are going to become a multi-billionaire. Now, although we have not attained it, although that person has not attained it, but the ocean of bliss increases, or the ocean of happiness increases. Similarly, the Vidya Vadu Jivana, that increases within our hearts when we are imparted, when we are revealed our services, our name, our group, etc. in the spiritual world. Now that is one component of Vidya Vadu Jivanam. Now let us try to understand what does Vidya Vadu Jivanam also mean. Vidya Vadu Jivanam also means that kind of knowledge that will increase the bliss of the gopis. So that kind of service. So Tatra Ati Daksha Tati Vallavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. What is that 6th verse of the Mangalarti that we sing every day in the morning? We say Nikunja Yuno Ratikeli Siddha Yaya Livir Yuktir Apekshaniya Tatra Ati Daksha Tati Vallavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Nikunja, within the bowers of Vrindavan, in the Nikunja, like Seva Kunj, right? So Seva Kunj is a place in Vrindavan where Radha and Krishna, they are performing their most intimate, confidential, their amorous pastimes. That place is Seva Kunj, there is Nidhivan, there are so many different kunjas like that. Madan Der and so many Sriji Bagicha, so many different kunjas are there in Sri Vrindavan. There is the Vamshivat and Vrindavan. So all these different places, Radha Krishna and the gopis are performing their wonderful pastimes, even Ras Leela. Sriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamshi Vatastitaha Karshane Swaner Venur Gopi Shri Gopi Nathaya Sri Astuna, where Krishna begins the Das Leela by playing his flute. Sriman Rasa Rasarambi Aramba. Aram means to begin. Rasa Rasarambi. He begins the Ras Leela by playing his flute. Sriman Rasa Rasarambi. And that particular form of Krishna is known as Gopinath, the master of the gopis, whom he controls with his flute. And also a deeper meaning of Gopinath is Radharani. Later on, Radharani controls the whole show because she is the Nath of all the gopis, Gopinath. And the third meaning of the word Gopinath is the gopis are Nath. The way they want to make Krishna dance, they will make Krishna dance. The gopis in the Ras Leela, one gopi has got sweat on her Vishwanath Chakravarti mentions all these wonderful things when he's explaining the Gopi Geet, that there is sweat out of the heavy dancing, the ecstatic dancing. So knowing that, Krishna takes his upper garment and wipes the sweat. Another gopi, while dancing, the ankle bells, they come out loose. And Krishna is so fast and swift. While dancing, he bends down and he reties the ankle bell of that gopi. And then some places the gopis are saying, Krishna, I will give you a little bit of buttermilk. Why don't you dance for me? And Krishna dances. So therefore the gopis are Nath. This is our acharyas explaining the Rasik meanings. Gopinath has so many different meanings, my dear devotees. So the gopis are Nath. Nath means master. Krishna is controlled by their love. He becomes Bhakta. We all know. We studied the Damodarashtakam very deeply during the Kartik. 2 months we did the Damodarashtakam. Krishna is known as Bhakta Vatsal and Bhakta Vasya. Vasya means one who is controlled. So therefore Gopinath means one, Krishna, who is controlled by the gopis. So Ananda Ambudi Vardhanam, then when we are able to serve the gopis very nicely, we are served, then our ocean of bliss will increase even further. Because they are very happy. Nikunja Rati Keli Siddha. Rati Keli means the amorous pastimes. Siddha, they have obtained that perfection. That is the meaning of Vidya Vadhu Jivanam, to obtain that perfection. To obtain that perfection. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Rati Keli Siddha. Yaya Alibhir. Along with all the other gopis. Alibhir means the gopis. Yukti Rapekshaniya. They are always desirous of serving these manjaris. So when they get that opportunity to serve, they are always Yukti Rapek Tatra Ati Daksha. They are so expert that due to their expertise, the chief gopis are very happy and Radha Krishna is very happy. Therefore, it increases their bliss, Ananda Ambudi Vardhana. Now, another meaning of the word Ananda Ambudi Vardhana is because of the love that is there, that the gopis and the manjaris are showering. It increases the ocean. Who Krishna is an ocean of bliss. He is known as Ananda Ambudi Vardhanam. He is known as the Ananda Ambudi. Ambudi means ocean. And he is the ocean of bliss. So one who increases the ocean of bliss by their seva. So that means that even the ocean of bliss of Sri Krishna is continuously increasing with the loving seva that is performed by the gopis and manjaris. That is the meaning of Ananda Ambudi Vardhana. Ananda Ambudi means Krishna. Please try to understand these two words again. Ananda Ambudi, the ocean of rasa, which is Sri Krishna. Krishna is the ocean of rasa. He is Rasa Sagar. Navanira Nindita Kanti Dharam Raso Sagar. He is the ocean of rasa. So same thing. Ananda Ambudi, the ocean of bliss. He is the ocean of bliss. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Excuse me. Got some allergies today. Sorry about that. Forgive me. So Ananda Ambudi means Krishna. And Vardhanam means to increase even the love of Krishna and the bliss of Krishna. Yes. So the gopis are capable of even increasing, giving more and more joy to that unlimited ocean of joy, Sri Krishna. Ananda Ambudi Vardhanam. And then when that happens, Pratipada Purna Amrit Swadanam. Every moment, both the parties are relishing. The devotee, every moment, Pratipadam, Purna Amrit, full nectar is relished by the devotee. And that full nectar is explained as Radha and Krishna. Full nectar is Radha Krishna. That is Sankirtan. We explained that last time too. Purna Amrit. We are not interested in worshiping Krishna alone by himself. No, that is not the Gaudiya Vaishnava Bhava. Like there might be many other devotees who are worshipping Sri Krishna just by themselves, the deity, but that is not the Gaudiya Vaishnava Bhava. Not possible. Impossible. None of our acharyas, they always had the deities, or they had Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu is Purna Amrit because he is Radha and Krishna. As a matter of fact, he is really Purna Amrit because all the mercy of Radha and Krishna is in Mahaprabhu. All the kripa is in Mahaprabhu. And Krishna Prem of the highest extent is in Mahaprabhu. Therefore, he is Purna Amrit. So therefore, one is able to taste that nectar on that platform of Purna Amrit. And Purna Amrit, Swadanam means Radha Krishna, Shyam Sundar and Vrishabhanu Nandini. Kishore Krishna, Kishore Kishori, that is Purna Amrit. That is the highest in the Madhuri Rasa, giving them the highest pleasure to Radha and Krishna, to that Purna Amrit. Swadanam, it is relishing, it is like tasting. It is like when we eat something, a nice nectarian mango, we peel it and we start licking. That is Purna Amrit Swad. We taste it with your tongue. Just like Mudabhiri Nari Kamala Swada Madhupa, Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatume. The Lord Jagannath in Jagannath Ashtakam in the beginning says that Mudaviri Nari Kamala Swada Madhupa. Lord Jagannath, who is Nanda Nandan in that bhav, he's tasting. He's tasting, the word that is being used, tasting the gopis. Mudaviri Nari means those Vraj gopis. Kamala Swada Madhupa. Just like the bee is tasting the honey. So that is the sweetness that Lord Jagannath or Shyam Sundar taste in the gopis. And the gopis also taste that sweetness. So this is something that can only be expressed in the few words right now. Unless and until, like example, if somebody says that how much can you really describe a rasgulla or a gulab jamun? One has to ultimately taste it to understand what really a gulab jamun or a rasgulla is. Otherwise, no matter, one can write chapters and chapters and chapters, the color, the consistency, and one can describe the sweetness, but no. Unless and until one. So that is known as Purna Amrit Swadanam. That is one of the meanings of the word Purna Amrit Swadanam. Sarva Atma Snapannam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sarva Atma Snapannam. Now, this Sarva Atma Snapannam has also more than one meaning. Sarva Atma Snapannam means that here, if you look at the normal translation, it says that due to the mercy received, due to the cleansing of the heart by chanting the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Due to all of that, everything that is dirty in the heart is cleansed. Correct? So yes, it is cleansed. So Sarvatma Snapannam. Snapannam means to take a bath. When we have taken a nice bath, we are clean. So, and once we are clean, that means now we are qualified enough to receive that mercy. So due to that cleansing process, we receive that mercy. Sarva Atma Snapannam. And then, not only that, because we are radiating that, we have received it, we have become good, perfect instruments in distributing that mercy. So we are distributing it to Sarva Atma Snapannam. So one who is a preacher of Krishna consciousness is actually purifying all the other souls. Sarva Atma Snapannam. That's the second meaning of the word Sarva Atma Snapannam. Third meaning of the word Sarva Atma Snapannam. When one obtains that high stage of the Manjari Bhav or the Gopi Bhav, and when one is already situated on that platform in the direct service through the other Manjaris and Gopis, in the physical service of Radha and Krishna, that Sarva Atma Snapannam means that the Gopis, the Manjaris, Radharani bathes Krishna with their love. Because Krishna is Paramatma, he is Sarva Atma. He is situated in service. This is the third meaning of Sarva Atma. Sarva Atma Snapannam. Just like on Janmashtami we perform, or on Gaur Purnima we perform the Abhishek of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Or in Janmashtami we perform the Abhishek of Krishna. So Sarva Atma Snapannam. That Krishna, who is the source of everything, is the Sarva Atma. So Sarva Atma Snapannam, they bathe him with their love. Nauchhavar, that is the right word in Raj Bhasha. Pyar ko nauchhavar kori. With so much love, they shower the love, and the Sarva Atma Snapannam, Sri Krishna. Fourth meaning of the word Sarva Atma. Fourth meaning of the word Sarva Atma Snapannam means that Sri Krishna Nandan, when he is bathing with the love of the gopis, he is so much in ecstasy himself that his Ananda Mudi Vardhanam, for the previous word, he himself feels his joy, his bliss increasing unlimitedly due to the love that has been showered, due to the Snapannam of the gopis. Sarva Atma Snapannam. Sarva Atma Snapannam also means that, in particular, it is the Madhurya Ras Bhav. The Sarva Atma means these Atmas or the gopis of Vraj. They are actually performing that Abhishek with their amorous love of the highest Ujjvala Ras or Parkiya Ras. That is the meaning of Sarvatma Snapan. And Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Param Vijayate, we explained that last time. Chanting of these holy names of this, or the Sankirtan of Sri Krishna brings about us the Param Vijay, highest victory. What is that highest victory? I explained that. Simple meaning, that it brings us about that highest victory of never to be again entrapped in Maya. Because we'll be cleansed. There will be no three gunas, no tamogun, no rajagun, no satogun. We will be going beyond the modes of material nature. So that is a victory. Because for many, many lifetimes, since time immemorial, we are just simply taking birth again and again in this material world, in this 8,400,000 species of life. And when we go beyond that, isn't that a great victory? Param Vijayate. How did that come? Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. We become victorious, the highest victory. Escaping from this material world and entering into the spiritual domain is a great victory. Param Vijayate. Due to the mercy of the holy name. Because Namna Namino Abhinna, because the holy name and Krishna, they are non-different. The holy name is Sri Krishna. So Sri Krishna, Krishna means Krishna and his intimate associates are already there in the holy name, which we will be studying in the second verse. So Sri Krishna and Krishna's associates make us fully victorious. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. The second meaning of Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam is that, many devotees can obtain Vaikuntha and they can obtain the service of Lord Ramachandra or the different avatars of Vishnu's and Narayan. That's a great victory. Ordinary people cannot do that. But Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan, especially this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, will give us such great victory that Krishna is known as Vijaya. And one can even conquer Krishna in the Madhurya Ras, because when we, under the guidance of the Gaudiya Acharyas, get entrance into Golok Vrindavan, we will get the highest of the highest, which is we will be able to get entry into those intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And that is the highest victory. Not everybody gets that chance. Like even under simple examples that we have, that somebody may know the what do you call, the member of parliament, and of their constituency. So they are happy, oh, I know him. But somebody say, oh, I know the governor of the province. Oh, cool. Wow, you're a big man, you know him. Yeah. That's a big victory over the guy who knows just the MP. But somebody who knows the prime minister of the country, and he's able to go into the prime minister's house or the office, that is more Vijayi than the one who knows the MP or one who knows the chief minister or the governor. I'm just giving a very crude and a very simple example. So amongst all the concepts of theism, Param Vijayate, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra can take us to that point, to the Madhurya Rasa, serving Srimati Radharani and Shyam Sundar in Golok Vrindavan. That is Param Vijayate, Sri Krishna Sankirtana. This Sankirtan, Sri means Radharani, Krishna means Krishna, the all attractive. And here the word all attractive can mean many different ways, but one of the most important perspectives is the all attractive one in Vrindavan. The all attractive one in Golok Vrindavan, who's got 4 extra qualities. All the Narayana, Vishnus and all the other avatars have 60 qualities, but Nandan Krishna has got 64 qualities. So that Sri Krishna, Radha and Krishna. So here it automatically indicates for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, what Mahaprabhu is saying is Sri Krishna means Radha Krishna, Nandan and Vrishabhanu Nandini, Radharani, Sri Krishna, Sankirtanam, the full kirtan, the full glorification of Radha and Krishna. Samyak Kirtan iti Sankirtana. Sankirtana is also more than one meaning. One can be congregational chanting. Many people meet together and they chant the holy names, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a leader. Ajanu lambito bhujo kanakaya udhato sankirtanai pitaro. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur starts this with the Mangalacharan, that Nitai Gaur, they are the founders or the Pitaros or the fathers of the Sankirtan movement. They actually, Prabhupada mentions that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu led 4 different parties, to Chand Kazi's house because he broke the khol, the mridang. So that was the first revolution and Mahaprabhu was the leader, and he was the one who led that everybody take up a torch and everybody chant the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. An andolan, a revolution against Maya. That is one of the meanings of congregational. Divided, we fall, united we stand. So when we are chanting together, we become very strong. We encourage each other. That is Sankirtan. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada explains another beautiful meaning of the word Sankirtan. Many years ago, I had read that. Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur says Sankirtan means, the word San in Sanskrit is a combination of 2 words. Samyak plus Kirtan equals Samkirtan. Samyak plus Kirtan equals Samkirtan. So Samyak means full, complete. And for us, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, complete means it is only complete when Radha and Krishna are present. So any kind of glorification that only leads to the love and the service of Radha Krishna is Sankirtan. That is the deeper meaning of the word Sankirtan. If anything else that does not lead us to the service of Radha and Krishna, to the pure, unadulterated service of Radha and Krishna and his associates and their associates, then that is not Sankirtan. Param Vijayate, Sri Sankirtan. Now, please hear another meaning of this particular verse of Chetodarpana Marjana. As we know, I had mentioned, I believe in the 2nd session or the 3rd session, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how did he really happen? How did he come here? So we know it was the curse of Vishakha Sakhi. We remember that the beggar of Prema, that Katha, and how Vrinda Devi is telling that when Shyam Sundar is not allowed into the Kunja to see Radharani, and Radharani is so upset, she tells Lalita Vishakha and all the other gopis, don't let him in. I'm upset. He's supposed to be here a long time ago, but he's simply, cheating me. He's with that other gopi, Chandravati. And, obviously it was found out. They send a messenger, messenger Manjari, and she finds out and she brings back the news. And Radharani is so upset. And she says, I don't want to see him. If he tries to come and block him with sticks, and all these things happen, then no matter how hard Krishna tries, he does not. And then he simply retires to the bank of the Jamuna, very morose, very sad, crying that Radharani won't see me today. And he's rolling on the banks of the Jamuna. His crown has fallen down. His upper vastra, Uttaranga, has fallen off. His peacock feather has gone off. His flute is all on the ground on the banks of the Jamuna, and he's rolling out of pain, in wanting to meet Radharani, but Radharani has rejected him. So at that time, Vrinda Devi appears, and she of course she knows everything because she is the one, along with Yogmaya and Purnamasi. They arrange all these different wonderful pastimes, the union, the separation, and to bring out the Navarasa, the more and more different ecstasies. To bring about those ecstasies, they make different arrangements. So she said, yeah, if you want, I have a way to make you, to fulfill your desire. So Krishna says, yeah, why not? Tell me, but you'll have to do whatever I tell you. He said, yeah. So then first of all, you've got this beautiful snigdha, curly hair, you'll have to get rid of them. What? I have to get rid of my curly hair? You want to see Radha? Yes, I do want to. You want that prema of Radha? Yes, I want it. Then get rid of it. Okay, I'll do that. You'll have to get rid of that flute. My flute. That is my identity. Shyam Sundar Gopal. Yes, you'll have to do that. You'll have to even get rid of your opulent clothes that Mother Yashoda has given you of the pitambar and all these wonderful, beautiful ornaments. What? You want to get Radha Prem? Yes, I want it. Then listen to me. I will do that. You will have to take up the garb of a sadhu, the garb of a sannyasi. Okay, I will do that. And I will teach you a song, Vrinda Devi says. And I will sing it. Vrinda Devi teaches a song that I am a beggar of prema. I am a beggar of prema. Please give me that prema. Please give me that prema. And like that, gives him one instrument, and he goes to the kunja, and he's like completely shaven. He is in the form of a sannyasi, and the gopis seeing that, they stop him, and they say, Sadhu Maharaj, our Sakhi is very sad. Can you tell fortune telling? Can you see, when will Shyam Sundar come to him? When she will be pleased enough to let him into her kunja? When will that happen? So he says, yeah, I can see the fortune, but I have to actually meet her. So they take her into the kunja, take him into the kunja, and Radharani covers herself with the veil, not seeing anybody else's face, except Krishna's, not wanting to. And if you all recollect, this Krishna is so tricky. He's saying that, well, I don't see the palm. She puts her palm in front, but I only see the lines on the forehead, and I can tell. So the Sakhis try to convince Radharani. Says, Radharani, can you lift your veil so that Sadhu Maharaj can see? Radharani says, no, I cannot do that. So Sadhu Maharaj says, okay, then I am leaving. I am leaving. I am upset. I am a Virakta Sadhu. I am not attracted to the opposite sex or money or anything. I am just a bhikari of prema. I am just a beggar of prema. So, don't waste my time. So then they convince Radharani, no, Sadhuji, please stay, she will show you her face. And the moment she lifts the veil, they could not express each other enough. They were so much in ecstasy. And the original form of Shyam Sundar appears in front of Radharani. And Radharani sees Ram Sundar, and internally she is pacified due to this. She was burning in separation, although she was expressing her man. But Vishakha was upset. She said, you know what? This form that you came in and you tried to cheat my prana sakhi, you will take that form and go back on earth, and you will be crying one day, just like my sakhi was crying in separation. Just like my sakhi was crying in separation of you, you will be crying in separation. And Chaitanya and Krishna accepted that. He says, no problem, I accept your curse. But that is one of the reasons that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, internal reason why he came to taste that internal nectar of Radharani's, to give to the whole world the glories of Radharani, and to feel his own, to taste his own sweetness, the internal reasons. External reason was the Mahamantra. External reason was Sankirtan. But eventually the Sankirtan would bring everybody to the internal reason, including himself. Now please hear this part. How does that do that? So first of all, when we are chanting, let's say, as this common jivas chanting the Mahamantra, our first goal is to eradicate our anarthas, to go beyond the bodily concept and be situated on a platform of Brahmabhuta, to be situated on the transcendental platform. Now, Nandanandan Krishna has a goal also. Please pay attention, please. Nandanandan Krishna has a goal also. So when he is in Jagannath Puri and in the Gambhira as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his goal is to attain the mood of Radharani. Is to attain the mood of Radharani. And he has still not attained it. In Jagannath Puri, he is yet to attain it. And for that reason, he has to do a lot of tapasya. He has to do a lot of sadhana. Nandanandan Krishna, in the form of Sachi Sutta, in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he constantly takes the ashray or the shelter of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He takes the shelter of the holy name because the holy name he knows, although he is It is him, but he has been covered by Yogamaya. He's been covered by Yogamaya that he does not know that he is himself in the holy name. Again, these are very, very deeper nuances, and I hope you all are paying attention. So, just like in Golok Vrindavan or in Vrindavan, he does not know that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have explained that. Yogmaya's job is to cover that knowledge, that cognizance that he is the Supreme Lord. In Vaikuntha, all the lordships, all the avatars know that they are the Supreme Lord. So, actually, that is our goal. Our goal as Gaudiya Vaishnavas is right now, Prabhupada came to give us that tattva, that philosophy that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he's giving us through the Bhagavad Gita, because everybody gets attracted to the opulence very quickly. People, generally speaking, get attracted to the opulence very fast. So Vasudeva Krishna, who is the son of Vasudeva, has got a lot of opulence. And through the Bhagavad Gita, even Arjuna gets attracted to that opulence. And finally, when that Virat Roop is shown and that opulence is shown, then he acknowledges that, yeah, you are Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Paritra Paramam Bhavan. You are, so I should listen to you. I thought of you as an ordinary friend of mine, my bua's son, my auntie's son. So then he understood that so that opulence is what changed Arjuna's mind. Of course, and then the kripa also, no doubt, many factors are there. So that opulence brought, so opulence brings attraction. And that is there in our common experience also. When somebody who is extremely rich and endowed with a lot of wealth, we generally tend to trust that person more, and considering that the person is very pious or has good karma, etc. And if the same thing somebody else who is very comes from an impoverished state or a very shabbily dressed person, if that person is also making the same statement, we may not believe that person because of the opulence. The opulence has an attraction in itself. Of course, here we are talking about transcendental opulence. So that attracts the persons, the jivas, because the jivas are lost in this material world. So something has to be done to attract them. So somehow or the other, the Bhagavad Gita is an excellent platform. Vasudeva Krishna. So Prabhupada mostly preached from the Bhagavad Gita and simultaneously Bhagavatam, where the first 9 cantos are the opulences of Sri Krishna. The different avatars, etc., and the different planetary systems and the Vaikuntha lokas and the creation is all nicely described in the Bhagavatam, and all the different devotees of the different avatars of Sri Krishna and the different, so all these are there so that people can get attracted. And then once one gets attracted, that purification takes place, and then we are qualified to enter the 10th canto, where the actual pastimes of the Nanda Nandan are happening in canto number 10 specifically. So for that, the background has to be laid. And that background is that we have to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am an eternal servant of Sri Krishna. Or servant of Krishna means I am the servant of the servant of Sri Krishna. Now, in order to even get that understanding, we have to do a lot of homework, we have to do a lot of hard work, and we have to do a lot of sadhana. That includes reading, chanting, association, etc. All these are always there. But these are eternal, regardless, even after liberation, we will continue to do so. Reading Bhagavad Gita means this is the pastimes of the Lord. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam means these are the pastimes of the Lord. Reading and hearing and actually being a part of the pastimes of the Lord is non-different. So these are the activities that we are being trained in. It's a training thing. So in the training, we are told that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But there will come a time when our maturity in bhakti and purity will be of such great levels that we will qualify. Prabhupada will lead us, our acharyas will lead us into a different realm, and different doors will open up in Raganuga Bhakti, which is beyond sadhana bhakti. And in that Raganuga Bhakti, at that time, in the Raganuga, in the following in the footsteps of the Vrajvasis, we will forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I repeat that again, because at that time, we will not be under the guidance of Mahamaya or under the control of Mahamaya. We will be directly under the control of Yogamaya. And Yogamaya's job is to make everybody forget in Vraj or in Vraj Bhav that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Love him because he is just the darling friend or the darling son or the darling apple of the eye, the lover. So, and Krishna has already given her a blank check. I'd mentioned that, if you all remember, during the Damodarashtakam. So the point is that Yogamaya, when Mahaprabhu is even here in the Gambhira, at that time, that Bhava of Vrindavan is blossoming to a very high extent in the Gambhira. The place, Jagannath Puri, is also known as Vyogini Radha Kshetra, the place where the maximum separation is felt. And the reason is because Mahaprabhu or Krishna, who is trying to obtain the bhava of Radharani, is taking shelter of the Mahamantra. He's taking shelter of the Mahamantra, although it is him and his associates in the word Hara and Krishna. They are non-different, they are them. But Mahaprabhu has full faith as because his Guru had given him this mantra. And this mantra can give us the highest, not only eradicate the anarthas, but the highest. And his highest objective is to get the bhava of Radharani. So he chants day and night the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the Gambhira. It is not that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had anarthas. That is why he was chanting Mahamantra. He was chanting Mahamantra for another reason. And the Mahamantra is like a kalpavriksha. It is like a desire tree. It can give you anything. Just like if one is under a desire tree and standing, one says, give me 5 kilos of gold. So that to the person asking 5 kilos of gold, that desire tree will give. And somebody else will ask the desire tree, can you give me a big palace? And all the pillars should be studded with diamonds and gold, and with hundreds and hundreds of servants, and beautiful lakes and gardens and everything. And because it's a desire tree that is capable of giving anything, so be it, tathastu. So similarly, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nandan, is taking shelter of that to Cheto Darpana Marjanan, to alter his own consciousness from Nandan to Vrishabhanu Nandini. I'll repeat that one more time. This Cheto Darpana Marjanam, in the normal senses, we chant the holy names of Sri Krishna to cleanse ourself, our heart, due to so many dirty things in it. And cleansing the heart means to be re-establishing ourselves in our original self, meaning in our Brahma Bhuta status, in the status of self-realization, that I am a spirit soul and I am an eternal servant of Sri Krishna. Jiver Swarup Hoy Krishner Nityadas. Right? That is what the effect of the Mahamantra is for the one, for the soul who is already very dirty since time immemorial. And the effect is that it will cleanse it. And then it will take you to the next stage and the next stage. But Mahaprabhu or Krishna, Nandan is already transcendental. He is Achyuta. Another name of Krishna is Achyuta. Chut means to fall, and Achyuta means one who is infallible, one who does not fall down, who is never falling down into the grip of Maya. There is no tamogun, no rajagun or satagun that is controlling Krishna. Krishna's body and soul and heart and everything are all one, whereas ours is different. The soul is different, the heart or the body is different. They're two different and different matters or different entities in one sense. So Krishna Nandan is already transcendental. So what is the cleansing that can take place in him, in his consciousness? So in his consciousness, the cleansing that he had desired for is that I want to be like Radharani. I want to taste that nectar of myself that only Radharani can taste with the highest and fullest extent. So for that, he has to get Radha Bhav. He has to have that transformation of consciousness. And therefore, that is known as Cheto Darpana Marjanam. For Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Nandan, Krishna, who is chanting as the son of, who appeared as the son of Sachi Mata and Jagannath Mishra, he has still not attained the bhava of Radharani. Therefore, he has taken shelter of the holy names, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, so that my consciousness that I am Shyam Sundar, because long as I remain Shyam Sundar, I won't be able to taste my own sweetness. I won't be able to feel what Radharani is feeling, and I will never be able to actually glorify her prema. Because first I have to understand her prema to the highest extent in order to glorify that prema or to give that prema. So therefore he is chanting in the Gambhira 12 years. Cheto Darpana Marjana. And that Bhava Mahadava Agni Nirvapanam means that forest fire in his heart. When he is, actually the first verse is a summary of all the other 7 verses in one sense. And I had mentioned earlier that there are 3 stages in terms of, one is Sambandha, one is the first is known as establishing a relationship. The second is the process. How do I establish the relationship? How do I attain my goal? And the process is known as the abhidya. And the third stage or the final stage is known as a prayojan. Prayojan means when one is completely perfected, one obtains what one wants, which is Krishna Prem, obtaining of the Krishna Prem. And I had also mentioned that Sambandha is by the mercy of Radha Madan Mohanji. Govind Dev Ji gives us the abhidya. He blesses us with the process. And prayojan is Radha Gopinath, Gopinath Ji. Actually culminating into the rasa, where we are given permission to enter into the Ras Leela by Gopinath. Sriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamshi Vatastitaha. So that is the prayojan. He is the Devta of prayojan, the ultimate goal of the Gaudiya Vaishnava devotee. So Nandanandan Krishna, Satchitananda has not yet obtained his goal. And he is burning inside because he needs to. It's burning like a forest fire. Supposing if one wants something and one is not able to get it, there's so much pain that one feels. So much pain. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is feeling that pain. And as he is chanting the holy names, and as it is the flames of fire are fanned by Sarup Damodar Goswami, by Rai Ramananji, as they are fanned in the Gambhira with wonderful Vraj Bhav verses, with verses from the different compositions of Jaidev Goswami, by Vidyapati, by Chandidas, and so many other Rasik, different components, that fire is being fanned. The more and more fire is being, the more and more windy it becomes, the more and more the fire becomes blazing. And they are perfect, these 2 fans, Rai Ramanand and Sarup Damodar, Lalita Sakhi and Visakha Sakhi, who are with him in the Gambhira. So that is actually at that point, because that obtaining of when that pinnacle happens, and when he actually, Mahaprabhu is on that pinnacle of separation and he gets that bhav of Radharani, at that time there is a multifold effect, which is also the same words can be used here. Mahadavanal. Because out of separation, when he gets that mood of Radharani, he cannot bear that separation. It is like a huge forest fire. Mahadavanam. And then, when that union happens, by the mercy of Yogamaya, that Agni Nirvapanam, that forest fire of separation is extinguished. And a very cooling effect takes place in the union of Radha and Krishna. This all happens in the Gambhira. Along with their intimate associates, Lalita, Vishakha, and along with the Mahamantra, who is a personification of all the gopis, and himself. Excuse me. And then the cooling effect takes place. When he's pacified by Swarup Damodar, Lalita Sakhi, by Vishakha, Rai Ramanan, then he feels that cooling effect. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitarnam. And at that time, Mahaprabhu starts speaking of Vraj, and beautiful from his lotus mouth, the pastimes start emanating in his mouth, along with his two associates in the Gambhira. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitarnam. There he is already starting to glorify Radharani. That glorification of Radharani, that glorification of Radharani is Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitarnam. That is what Mahaprabhu came also to glorify Srimati Radharani. Vidyavadu Jivanam. And that Vidyavadu Jivanam means after a lot of tapasya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attains the knowledge or the transcendental bhav of Radharani. That Vidyavadu, here this Vadu means Radharani herself. So now Nandan has obtained that bhav. Vidyavadu Jivanam. And when that happens, Ananda Ambudivardhanam. Ananda Ambudivardhanam. Nandan's joy has no bounds, his ocean of joy. Because now he's tasting his own nectar, his sweetness. He's tasting it, Radharani's love for him. And he's glorifying Radharani, which was his most important goal, his internal reason amongst the three reasons. So that is why Ananda Ambudi Vardhanam. It is here. And Pratipada Purna Amrit Swadanam. Every moment he was relishing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was relishing that bhav of Radharani in the Gambhira, along with his associates, Rai Ramananda and Swarup. Pratipada Purna Amrit Swadanam. Purna Amrit here means that for Krishna, Radha is the Purna Amrit. She is only and indeed the only full nectar for him. So Purna Amrit here means Nandan Sri Krishna obtaining the mood of Radha. It has a double meaning. Is tasting Radharani, and upon obtaining the mood of Radharani, he is tasting himself, Krishna. So that is Purna Amrit. Purna Amrit means tasting himself and also tasting Radharani. Sarva Atma Snapannam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. His own Atma has fully been transformed, his consciousness into Radha Bhav. Sarva Atma Sri Krishna has been transformed into Radha Bhav. That is one of the meanings of the word Sarva Atma Snapannam. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. This Sankirtan Mahamantra that even Krishna takes shelter of brought him victory, the highest victory, which is Radha Bhav. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So these are the different. I have perhaps touched a small drop of this deep ocean of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shikshashtakam, based on whatever little intelligence or my little capacity that I have. Thank you very much. I will end here today. Next week, we will take up the second verse of the Chaitanya Shikshashtakam. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Arpita Niyameta Smarnena Kala Eta Drashi Tava Kripa Bhagwan Mamayapi Durdaivam Idrisham iha jani na anuraga. So the first verse is the complete synopsis of the entire Shikshashtakam. It is the sambandha, which is sadhana and abhidyay, the process and the culmination or the goal, which is Radha Bhav for Mahaprabhu. Or for us, our bhav would be hopefully, to be assistants of these manjaris or these servitors of Srimati Radharani. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayo, Das Anudas Anudas. That would be the Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. First, establishing relationship, getting rid of all the negativities, the anarthas, being situated on the positive platform of being a good receiver of Kripa. And then next positivity would be to distribute that Kripa. And that would enhance our existence, our ocean of bliss. It would enhance the ocean of bliss known as Sri Krishna. It would enhance our love and our service to the Purna Amrit, to the complete nectar Radha and Krishna. We have our goals. Krishna has his goals, all obtained through the chanting of the Mahamantra. We take it very cheaply. We have no idea how amazing this Mahamantra is. We have no idea what kind of treasure we have. Some things that we get cheaply or easily, we consider it very cheap. If Nanda Nandan Sri Krishna takes shelter of the Mahamantra, can you imagine its greatness? That is why it is known as Mahamantra. There are so many different mantras, but this is Mahamantra. Even Nanda Nandan Sri Krishna takes shelter of it to obtain his prayojan, his goal, ultimate goal of Radha Bhav. Radhara Madhurima Kidrisho Jaina Adbhuta Madhurya Swadhyena. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. I will now pass on the microphone to our Anuprabhu. Haribol.
Haribol Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and all Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. So today is the sixth session of Shri Chaitanya Shikshashtakam, the teachings by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Prabhuji nicely explained a very deeper meaning to the verse 1 of the Shikshashtakam. Maybe we'll delve into the second verse next session. But as Prabhuji said, this verse 1 is all the meaning of all the 8 slokas is in this verse 1. Prabhuji covered the Parkiya Ras Bhava and the Vipralam Bhav that is in the Vrindavan, which is not in the Golok Vrindavan, and also reiterated the story why Krishna is born as Chaitanya in this material world. But as he's thrown this light to the deeper meanings of verse 1, Shikshashtakam, it seems more complex to me than it was previous. So the more I know, I can say I'm more confused. But what I understand and what we should take on from this is what is the path to achieve the pinnacle of Krishna consciousness. And we cannot do that unless we clean our heart. there is dust in our heart from many different ages because of different anarthas and different types of kleshas. So we have to clean that, and to clean that and understand the deeper meaning and to achieve the pinnacle of Krishna consciousness, we have to take the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and do the Sankirtan. That's the essence what we should take with us. Even like Prabhuji said us, the Nandanandan Krishna has to took shelter of Mahamantra to achieve the ultimate Radha Bhav. So who are we? We have to take the shelter of Krishna consciousness and take the shelter of Mahamantra to achieve the pinnacle of Krishna consciousness, and that's the take I took from this today's lesson. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, and thank you everybody for attending today's lesson. We have one, I think, announcement. 14th April, Wednesday is Tulsi Jaldan begins. So in this month, sun moves to Mesh Rasi. New Year's begins according to many calendars, and Kesab Brata starts. So please observe this day, and we will see you next Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Thank you very much for attending. And if you have any questions or reflections, please, you are allowed to open your mic and ask the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anu Prabhu. So I would like to, I'm just seeing a couple new names today I saw. I would like to welcome one Leela Priya Janwa Devi Dasi Mata to our Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group. Mataji, you're welcome. And we are very happy to have you.
No, I used to dial in with my phone, but today or sometimes I go into YouTube, but today I went into the Zoom.
Oh, okay. So are you Lilojini Mataji?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Mata. Oh, welcome anyways.
Thank you, Prabhu sir. Such a wonderful class. I learned a lot today. Yes. Thank you so much.
Glory to Shri Prabhupada. Yeah. Is there anybody who would like to express their any questions or anything that they would like to express? Please feel free. You can unmute yourself.
I have a couple of reflections, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
One thing is after attaching with this Gaudiya Vaishnavism philosophy, we have a very different meanings. I understand. Like we know that from this Bhagavatam sloka, first sloka, or Bhagavatam first sloka, which says like Krishna is the creator of something. I have a my favorite bhajan. One line I'll sing. छप्पन कोटि जीव जन्तु सर्व घटे एकत्व लीला निमन्ते नानाकार भने दिन अच्युत. The meaning is like there are 56 crores or more than that lives in this world, but all are one. And everything taken a rupa for Krishna's play in this world. So we need to understand this concept. When we understand this concept that everything is emanating from Krishna, then we won't have this feeling of differences. Like we differentiate, like he is good, he is bad, and that feeling actually creates the hingsa, swartha, and different meanings. So we have to understand this, and that way we can connect to Krishna, or that is called yoga. So, but this Gaudiya Vaishnavism, that it is above that. Like we can connect and understand Krishna, but to meet with the Krishna, we have to have that love. Yes. And that's what I understand. And thank you very much for that understanding. And as I hear from you, I definitely have more understanding of the meanings. I have one question. I know that in this concept, just a second, one of the The Madhurya Rasa. The Madhurya Rasa is considered as the highest rasa, and it is above the Vatshalya Rasa. And sometimes I confuse, like, is this true in this material world also? Like in material world, we consider that the motherly love or Vatshalya Rasa is the top. This husband-wife or lovers relationship is below that. So can you point out, light on little bit more on that? Thank you.
Good question. There is no relationship in this world, whether husband-wife or parental, that are pure in nature. Uh, this is something that will take some time to digest. There is no such thing as real prema. In this, prema is exclusively for Sri Krishna. Prema is exclusive. This is. I'm speaking the words of the acharyas. Everything here is based on sense gratification, and sometimes there might be a very little tinge that we cannot immediately see through, but it is existing, because the soul can only love Sri Krishna. The rest of it is not love, it is lust. Bhagavad Gita also explains that Krishna, I forgot the sloka, which one it is, but it is lust only that is there in this material world. And I think I've given these examples that parents also, or whether any relationship, why just parents, son is good until, listens to them. If he doesn't, then he's not good. And there is no such thing as unconditional love. Or even whether husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend, there's no such thing as unconditional love. The moment we stop giving them what they want, or if they stop giving us what we want, then the relationship gets sour, and one day it is severed, it is broken, either in the form of divorce or not talking, or just simply, cutting the relationship. So these pure relationships cannot exist in the material world due to the material nature that everybody is in a grip of. Everybody is in a grip of that. Okay. So if the real true love is of parents or of a wife or a brother or a friend or whoever, then that person will, honestly, there's a shloka, or a king or a guru, is only if they can give you Krishna consciousness, and if they can stop you from coming back again from birth or death, or in other words, from coming back into the clutches of Maya. And first of all, they cannot save themselves. How can they save others? So everything is wrong. The only thing is, we sometimes misconstrue piety as love. There is no love, period. The sooner we understand it or realize it, it is good for our self-realization. And real love means we give them Krishna consciousness. That's what it is. It's a harsh truth. For when I first heard it many years ago, I could not believe my own ears. But this is substantiated by Guru Sadhu Shastra.
So you mean
we come from a very good culture, the Indian culture, and we see more sacrifices compared to the Western culture, and so many things, where parents, keep the kids at home, even though the kids may be out of line, they protect them, they give them the money, they give them the education, they give them, so much. But there is always a limit. The rubber band cannot stretch beyond. And because there is no unconditional love. The unconditional love is not possible. The jiva cannot love something that is under Maya. The unconditional love, if the jiva loves something that is under Maya, then it is lust. Simple. That love is, we should replace that word love with lust. And lust does not necessarily mean that people have that connotation, like, somebody who is, like a person looking at the opposite sex in a very dirty way. No. That's not the connotation of lust. Lust means where there is sense gratification involved. That is what is lust. It is not in a dirty way, like in a very derogatory way. No. But ultimately, everything is derogatory if it does not culminate love of Krishna. Everything is useless. Shrama eva hi kavalam. So we are all under that boat. then that's very hard to get over unless and until we are situated on a very good Krishna conscious platform, and that is the goal eventually. Hopefully one day we will. Hopefully, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas, we can only pray for that. We are all victims. And that is why the process is there of the Chaitanya Marjana. Why do you think Mahaprabhu started with that? Chaitanya Marjana. We need to cleanse ourselves. He came here to instruct what he left over through how to surrender. So the external point was Chaitanya Marjana instructing the whole world. Take to this Hare Krishna Mahamantra and eradicate all your anarthas and be situated on a transcendental platform. And then he used the same thing for his internal reasons. But yeah, this is very difficult to digest. There's no question of true love in this material world. No. It may appear like that, but it is not. Tejo vari mudam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo amrusha dhamna svena sada nirasta kohakam satyam param dhimai. First verse, Srimad Bhagavatam. I started halfway. It is only due to the interactions of all these different modes of material nature, we see something that is false and we think it is real. So we think that our love for our parents is real, like absolute or on the highest platform, or our parents' love for us is on the highest platform, or our husband's love for us, or our friend's love, or our son or daughter, or any relationship. Not possible. Not possible. I mean, I know many people will not accept it easily, but my job is to just repeat it as it is. So, for even me to digest it is still difficult to do. But in theory, I've accepted it. Let me put it that way. And that is the reason why we have so many expectations. We love somebody so much, and one day they cannot perform. Then we feel hurt. We are very sad. We are morose. We are shochati. Like Krishna says, we are sad, we are lamenting. So all these concepts of theism are there in the Bhagavad Gita, which is so basic. What to talk about what we are talking right now, which is a very high level. We have not even crossed into realized the Bhagavad Gita. But we are hoping, and that is why Kripa. Not by our own endeavors. We've been too long in this material world that we can easily be the spell that is cast by Maya be lifted. No, that is also an acceptance, and that acceptance itself is a dependence on Sri Krishna and his devotees. So Anuprabhu, I don't know how much have I confused you further, or how much you agree or disagree. You have the right to disagree, no doubt. But again, my business is to just speak everything as it is.
Agree and disagree will come to me when I understand everything.
Yes, so again, like I said, many things. I am also a struggling jiva myself.
Yeah. But, so yes, go on. Please. Okay. So this is the time to digest and understand and go deeper into the meaning. Yes. So I am right not in a position.
We have a platform for getting information, and then yes, we can dive into knowledge and understanding, and then realization one day. Realization is the hardest one, and it will come. But that when that realization comes, we will realize that also. It is not with my own endeavor that I am able to come to that stage, or I will reach that stage. It is just
it is definitely complex and difficult to digest, because Krishna is the creator of everything, and parents are the creator of this body, right?
Yeah, it's the material body.
Yeah, so parents are creator of the material body.
Made of flesh, bones, blood, urine, pus, stool, kapha, pitta, vayu.
Yeah. At least, so as long as
parents cannot make the soul.
Yeah.
The real person is the soul. When somebody dies and we are there in the funeral, what do we say? Oh, he was such a nice person. He's gone. But the body is right there. Why are you ready to burn it? Or why are you ready to bury it? If he's the real person. So the real person
Yeah,
is
so
God.
that realization, we need to have that realization to, otherwise, like we consider like Vatsala Rasa is
All
true.
rasas are
That
perfect when they are in relation to Krishna. So the Vatsalya rasa of Nanda Maharaj or Yashoda Mai or any devotee who considers Krishna as his child is perfect.
yeah.
It's not, but these are specialties. But the Madhurya rasa has got Sarva rasa sar. Because the love that you have for your wife or for one may have for the girlfriend is different that you have from one with your friend or your brother. You know, we cannot measure it in terms of its depthness, but it is distinctly different. The example should make it more clear. But the love that one has in a particular rasa, which is the Madhuri rasa, as explained, it encompasses all the other rasas in it because those qualities and those bhavas are there.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I
Like, for
think,
example, the gopis of Vrindavan, when Krishna and Balram were hungry, and they went, the Brahmanas were doing yagyas, and the gopis, they were there, and they were bringing all those wonderful items to be offered to that yagya. But both these boys were hungry. They asked the Brahmanas, they said, no, 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 nothing doing, nothing. They had to ask the wives, and they out of love gave it. So the thing is that this is what Vatsila Ras was there in them, but the Brahmins who had all the knowledge of the Vedas and they were performing the yagyas, they could not understand that, all this we are doing for Vasudeva. Everything, all the yagyas, all the tapasya, everything, Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramaka, Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapa, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudeva Parayoga. Ultimately it is to please Vasudeva, is to obtain. Otherwise, everything is Shrama Eva Ikeva. So those ladies immediately gave. They didn't care if the husbands were going to get upset or it was for the yajna. Take it. You want some puris, you want some sabji, you want some makan. We have it in our tokeries. Yeah, please, you are hungry, have it. So, any rasa, one can have a relationship with Sri Krishna. But in our Gaudiya Vaishnavism, they teach us, hopefully, that we can obtain the Madhurya Rasa. That is the whole idea, because if we are in a particular school with a particular line of thought or a particular subject, then we would hope that we would become experts in that under the guidance of those experts who are teaching that subject matter, that specialty.
yeah.
Okay, Prabhuji, I hope I was able to,
Yes, got it.
some. I know it's difficult. What you asked this question is something that I've asked myself many times, many years ago. But I've come to this kind of realization is not seeped in yet. I'm hoping to by the mercy of God. But I've understood that no, there is no such thing as true love in this material world if it's not concerning Krishna.
Yes,
Material
got
or
it, Prabhuji.
spiritual, in this creation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. I will leave to others if they have
Yes,
anything
if
to say.
anybody else has anything else to say. If you all can give me just 1 minute, I have to take a bio break. I'm diabetic and sometimes, it really, give me just 1 minute and I'll be right back. But in the meantime, if you want to, put your thoughts together, I would love to discuss. Give me literally 2-3 minutes.
In the meantime, if anybody has any reflection they want to share with others, they can proceed.
Yes, Prabhuji, you said everything is connected with Krishna. That's true. In Bhagavad Gita, he says the pearls, like a pearl, all the pearls are strung on the string. We cannot see the string, that is Krishna, but we can see the pearls, right? And also in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, see me in everyone, then you won't be lost. Right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like he created everything, and in every material, whether it's life or a material, he is there. He is
Yeah.
inside it in everything. Yeah. So that's how he connected everything into one. Correct.
Hare Krishna. Thanks for your patience. Can you hear me? Okay, Hari Prabhu, thank you so much for being there. Haribol.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I got something to do. So,
No problem, no problem.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So, I think anybody else has anything else? Then, all glories to Shri Prabhupada. Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you.